How's it going, folks? This is Kevin. Just welcome you all to the first Chop It Up online. Kind of just to give everyone an idea of where this came from. Here in Phoenix, I have been doing Chop It Up discussions at the barbershop that I go to, which I'm really desiring to go back to sometime soon. But shout out to AG's on 7th and Southern here in Phoenix. But Chop It Up was really just a place where men could come and have conversations. I do pastor a church. However, it also was just conversations that we have in barbershops about life, about money, about relationships, about God, all of that. And so what I decided to do was online do that same kind of thing. But I've got two of my best friends online with me, two of my brothers from another mother.
What up?
I've got Tori from Oklahoma City. And then I've got Darian, who is in Dallas right now.
Yes, sir. Hello, hello.
Allow them to introduce themselves, and then we're just going to jump into a conversation here. Tori, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I'll go ahead and go first. Tori Watkins, in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma right now. Still call myself a transplant from North Carolina, because that's where I'm originally from. I think Kevin and Tarsha, my wife and I, we met together back in Tulsa in Rhema Bible College Church. And it was I think the young married small group that would meet before the church services. And I remember them walking in. I think my wife and I were over the greeters at that time, I think. Yep. And we just hit it off, connected, and we've been tight and close and friends ever since. It's my brother from another mother. Miss him dearly, but I know that he's doing great things out there in the hot state of Arizona. So,
but I'll take it.
What you say?
Not hot right now. We're good. We're 70s and 80s. We're good.
Oh, that's perfect right there.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you in about 2 months and see how that is. All right. But yeah, it's an honor, privilege to be on here, man, and I'm looking forward to it. This is good stuff. I remember when you first started doing this, I don't know, was it sometime last spring or summer? Mm-hmm. And I remember seeing it on Facebook. I mean, this is a fantastic idea. So I love it. And thanks for letting me be a part, man.
No problem. D?
Yeah, my name is Darian Lewis. I met Kevin and Tarsha, man, back in Okmulgee days, Okmulgee, Oklahoma, with Sanctuary Evangelistic Church. We were all serving in ministry together back then. And I'm trying to think of what years that was. 2000, what, 5, 6? No, 2, 3, somewhere in there.
Actually, 2001, 2002.
Wow. Yeah. So quite a while ago. And have been able to watch, stay connected ever since through all the transitions of moving to different cities. And we actually were in Tulsa together at Greenwood Christian Center for a number of years. And to be honest, I had the opportunity and privilege to kind of watch you and Tarsha just develop into the leaders that you guys are and are becoming. I've watched you kind of, just grow into what I believe to be truly, honestly, world-class leaders. And I just can't wait for the rest of the planet to catch up. So I just appreciate you guys. You guys been in my corner. I'll sing your praises for the rest of my life. You guys are awesome. Seriously. Yes, you have been there for me in ways we couldn't be any closer than family. So I can't say enough about you guys. I appreciate you so much.
Awesome. So what I wanted, this first one, I just want to kind of have that conversation of dealing with life as we now know it.
Yeah.
And I think for men, it's important to have that conversation because one of the things I think happens sometimes is that we kind of are so busy being strong for everyone else that sometimes we don't take that moment to do our own self-evaluation and self-thought of how am I responding to this? Right. And then also just the interactions that we have as men. I'm an introvert. I'm the person that I can sit at home, I can play Xbox all day and I'll be good, right?
Right.
But I'm finding that in this season, I'm like, I need to go talk to some people. I need to see somebody because I love my family, and the four walls of my house, I love my house, but I need to get outside of it, right?
Right.
So I guess the question is, how are you guys dealing with this new normal, for what it is right now. This is not going to be permanent, we know, but how are you dealing with this new normal?
Or you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Yeah, so I mean, for me, I think the thing that hit home hardest for me was, having two new young grandkids. My oldest grandkid will be 2 in August, and then my youngest grandson, he was just born in October. So I got a chance to see them quite often. And I think that's the thing that's been the hardest for me, is not being able to physically touch. And so the good thing is that with the technology, my daughter and I, we FaceTime, I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5 times a day just to keep in touch. And we find ourselves doing that more now than what we used to before, because we want to make sure that we're checking on each other. She calls her daddy old, but you know what? I'll forgive her for that later on down the road. But being able to just to see their faces, see them, talk to her husband, it's been a benefit for me. The second thing that I think has been a benefit for me is, and Kevin and I, we talked about this a couple of days ago, is getting back to things of what I used to do. I mean, like today, I've looked at very little TV, but have music going in the background, doing things in the kitchen, getting stuff straight. I mean, instead of having the TV streaming in the background on Sports Center or just ESPN just for background noise, why not do what we used to do before we had all these streaming devices and worship and have music playing? Or it didn't have to be worship. It could be some old school T-Bone, which I played 3 years ago. Yep. Kev, you know what I'm talking about. Last Street Preacher. So, I mean, stuff like that, things I hadn't broken out in, God, I don't know, 10 years. And so doing that and getting that feeling of, okay, you know what? Making sure that my time is productive, slowing life down and making sure that my mind is focused on him more so than when I'll be running this quote unquote we call rat race. So that's what I've been doing. Talking about my mom and dad there in North Carolina, my daughter, even though they're here, my son-in-law and daughter and grandkids, just FaceTiming them a lot and taking that time with this slow down lifestyle to just do things like I used to do. Play music, play T-Bone, doesn't really matter what it is. I mean, I've played some old school Prince, just a lot of stuff. So that's been keeping me sane. Walking outside, sitting on the patio, getting outside these 4 walls, and still trying to be involved with my church. So they're doing some great things through video and through online services, and still trying to make sure that we're plugged in that way. So those are the 3 things mainly for me.
Good. Dean?
Yeah, for me, this has been a very interesting time. I was actually transitioning from working in an office to working from home when all of this hit anyway.
Yeah.
So, I have the great fortune, me and my wife have the great fortune of working for the same company. And so she had a little more time flexibility with her position, where she was in the office, but also had time flexibility to be out of the office. And so when they transitioned our entire office to home, they did it kind of ahead of the curve. We were already planning for this massive remote workforce, and so we had to kind of a heads up, if you will, to kind of get ready for what we're experiencing right now. So for my household and my family, the biggest adjustment, my stepson had to come home from college, and he's a music major. So and when I tell you, when I tell you, they send him home with every instrument that he needs in order to complete his schoolwork. And so I get to hear him practice classical music. I get to hear him, he's practicing drums. He's doing all this different stuff for his coursework. And my wife's in her office trying to work. I'm in another bedroom trying to work. And so we're just navigating that whole thing on a daily basis, When we need space, we give each other that space. which is something that I really appreciate. Everybody's been very, very flexible.
Yeah.
We've been also very, very communicative.
Yeah.
That's something that has definitely increased, whether we intended it to or not.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you gotta be a little more empathetic,
You
a
do.
little more sensitive.
Yeah.
Right.
You just gotta kind of not necessarily tiptoe,
Right.
but you definitely got to be more aware of how what you're doing is affecting other people, and so that you don't, you just make it as much of a pleasant environment as possible, because no one can really go anywhere. We're here, number one. And then the other thing is, every once in a while, we'll get somebody will jump in a car. Somebody will just jump in the car. Hey, I'll be back. Okay.
I'm out.
They'll
That's
just
great.
ride. Just ride.
Where you going? I don't know.
But I'm going, but I will be back. And we'll come up with we'll look around and see what actual essentials we need, and somebody will make a store run, and they'll glove up and mask up, and my wife is quick with the hand sanitizer and the disinfectant. It's a whole kit in the car.
Right.
Just waiting. So matter of fact, today we went to Home Depot. My God, line out the door, but we were masked up. Hand sanitizer and ready to go. Just buying wood and stuff for her to make a home garden. So we're doing what we got to do. And one of the things I will probably sing her praises, my wife's praises during this time, is she's been very proactive in staying connected, not only to her family and friends, but staying spiritually connected. We weren't serving in a church. I'm not going to go into our background, but currently we're not serving a specific ministry, but she has been very proactive in just getting people together and reminding them who we serve. She's been very proactive about making sure that our family and friends are participating in communion. She's reminding people, hey, if you were a tithe paying member before this, you need to be a tithe paying member now. That church still has a mortgage. It still has, bills to pay, and if we want that to be there when we return, we've got to be proactive about that. So, being mindful has just been probably the main thing I can say, is just really, really being mindful of just moment by moment, day by day. How does this thing shift? How does this, change? How do we adjust to that so that we make this as pleasant and as good as possible?
Yeah. So I got a question for both of you, since the question doesn't really pertain to me because it is just me in this house. But how have you two adjusted with a house full of people with family? Because a lot of times we as men we try to keep things in. We don't communicate the way we should. We want to bottle stuff up. But you said something, Darren, that was really, really crucial about communicating and showing empathy, which is different from sympathy. Empathy is something that we need to show not just outside of our family, but within our family, to have great conversations. So how has that balance been for the two of you to work on the way you conversate with each other and show empathy? Because it can get a little tense if we're always with each other and not having breaks. So how have you two handled that?
For us, my wife and I think we've always had pretty good communication. Not perfect, but we've had pretty good communication. And so even now, I think we've recognized that there are times where it's like, okay, where we are right now in our communication, let's not allow current situation to negatively impact who we are before we got into this situation and after this situation.
Right.
And so, but it's also allowed us to be a little more proactive in relating to our kids. With my daughter, she was away at school, and so we had to bring her back. My son's in his junior year, about to go into senior year of high school. So those are conversations. It's like, okay, we're all here now. Before, everybody, football practice, work, gym,
Right.
all these other things going on. And so now it's like we've got all this time that we're all looking at each other. And so now it's like, okay, how do we work this out? How do we navigate this? Do we go for a walk and just talk?
Right.
And I think that's the key thing, is just finding ways and being honest. I've learned, and this has been, I think, something we as men sometimes struggle with, is really being honest about what's going on,
Right.
really being transparent. And so there have been times where we, during these last few weeks or whatever, it's just been like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm feeling. This is what's going on in my head right now. And so it gives her window into what's happening with me. And then that helps to build our relationship even stronger, because then it's that whole intimacy, and not just physical intimacy, but emotional
Right.
intimacy.
That's good stuff.
Give me that question one more time, if you don't mind.
Just like I said, for me, I'm the only one here in this house, so I don't have to worry about that conversation juggle or the emotional juggling of always being within four walls of someone. So as a dude, how are you all handling? What's that balance of like with your conversations, and how has it changed the way you've conversed with each other, or has there been any change? Are you still rolling the way you were before, or have you looked at things differently? Like going back to what you said, you used the word empathy when dealing with your conversations and relationships. So with the new world that we're living in now, how has that home life changed for you all as far as your relationship and conversations going?
Gotcha.
That was really long-winded. My bad. Sorry.
No. I appreciate you going back over it. I'll be honest with you. I didn't get any sleep last night. So
no.
Like none.
Right.
And it was my fault. I took a late nap, and I had some caffeine, and
it's a bad combination, brother.
Yeah, just bad deal. Bad combination. I just had, like grateful that it was going to be Saturday.
Right.
And and I've been running all day ever since, just trying to my wife and her gardening goals.
Gotcha.
So anyway, to answer your question though, one of the things for us, communication was a topic of work, for lack of a better term, for the relationship before all of this.
Right.
And so coming into this, we were already trying to really get better at it. And I think this scenario, I know for me personally, this scenario has caused me to really have to kind of step up and talk when I don't want to.
Right.
I don't, just Darian, I don't like to talk about how I feel. I don't like to talk about, anything that's going to be questioned, challenged, rebutted, anything of that nature, whether it needs to be or not. I'm not comfortable with doing it. And I know this whole thing about, us being on here, we're on here for the whole planet, but let's just keep it honest.
Yeah.
Right.
But she needs that, and she told me that. Look, I need you to tell me what you think. I need you to tell me how you feel. I need you to just put it out there, and we'll figure out the rest. She said, I'm not soft or weak. I can handle whatever you bring to me. And I know that for a fact. But
right.
And so as a result of that, whenever we've had those times where we've had to actually kind of pull each other aside and say, hey, we need to talk about X, Y, Z. I've definitely been purposely mindful to go ahead and open my mouth, speak my heart, speak my mind, and then go from there. And it's been really, really productive. We've, as a result, been a little more. We've always been caring. I don't want to paint a picture like we've not. We've always been caring, but there's a different level of trying to take care of one another.
Yes, for sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No, that makes complete sense. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a different level of check-in, just
is.
to make sure everybody's cool, everybody's got what they need, and that could be anything from a glass of water to a come to Jesus meeting. you know,
Right.
whatever that is, there's just more of a consistent check-in of just making sure everybody's cool and has what they need. And also at the same time, like I mentioned, you know, if space is one of those things, then it's allowed, you know, like, okay, handle your business.
Yeah.
I'll see you when you get back, or whatever, you know, whatever that looks like.
Get some Band-Aids. I'll be back. You got Band-Aids. No, we need some more. I'll be back.
Yeah.
I need the little ones.
There you go. Right.
So yeah, it's
That's
been
awesome.
good.
That's good.
So, I mean, because the other thing is, I think that for us, just to kind of shift a little, for me, I think the other thing that has been good about this, and I hate to say good about what's going on right now, but I think the thing that has been useful and beneficial has been, and Tori, you mentioned this before, as far as the time that you kind of get back, you know, thinking about, you know, commute to work doesn't take as long. It takes me all of 30 seconds to walk upstairs,
literally,
and log into my system.
Right.
So I have now more time, and for us, it's allowed us to be more productive. So for the church that we pastor, we had to shift things very quickly. We had to figure out a streaming strategy. We had to figure out our giving strategy. All things that we probably should have done before.
Right.
But now it was like, oh, we got to take care of this. And so just trying to get all of those things out. I was able to get my first book completed, and I'm working on my second one. So all of those things are things that, as far as time frame, now it's like, okay, I have more time than I think. So talk about, you know, what time has meant for you as far as this whole thing. And really, because we're gonna wrap this up soon, but what would you say to somebody who is looking at this and saying, what do I do with all of this that is going on right now? How can I make the most use of the time that we're given in this stay-at-home quarantine situation that we're all pretty much facing?
I mean, for me, what I've been telling people is things that you know you should be doing. I don't care if it's reading the Bible, listening to music, cleaning the house. I don't care what it is. It could be anything. Yeah. Things that you have just put away and haven't done because you're always ripping and running. You're always working. You got kids, got basketball or whatever. You're going out and you're seeing people. Put those things in motion right now that you have the time so they can become habit forming.
Yeah.
So when this stuff is all done with, whether it's another 30 days, another 60 days, those things are now habit. When you constantly do them, for me, and I'll be candid, I'll be honest, and I know I'm putting my stuff, business all out in the world. I don't care right now. But as far as for me, I don't think my living room, my dining room, and my kitchen have not been this clean and straight in years. You think I'm joking? I'm serious. But here's the thing, man. I absolutely love it because when your house is in order and it's not in chaos, you're at peace.
Yeah.
And so I'll walk around my house, I'll walk into the kitchen, I'm like, yo, this feels great. Mm-hmm. And when your house is not in order, your life feels like in chaos. Yeah. Just like with finances or marriage or whatever, a job, when things are not in order, you're not at peace. I've slept so well in the past 3 weeks than what I've had in the past 10 years. Mainly because where I am, my place is in order. So that's what I've been doing. I hate going out and doing gardening. I sprayed weed killer in my flower bed. And I checked on it yesterday. I don't do that. That was Amy's job. I'm out there spraying, looking at the birds and the trees. So yeah, do things that you just haven't done before and make it a habit now. So when life comes back to where it was before, that those things are in place and you don't lose focus from that.
Very good. That's really good. I know for me, the additional time has really kind of, how can I put it? First of all, rest has become a priority.
Yeah.
Where before, rest really was kind of on the back burner. You didn't realize how much rest you actually needed.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, and so we've given each other and given ourselves permission to just kind of chill.
Yeah.
Number one, and then relax. We do, like I said, we were already working from home. We're blessed to both have our jobs, and in the industry that we work in higher education. that's pretty much going to be a staple.
Right.
It typically is throughout any crisis economically, and so we recognize that we're blessed in that, but at the same time, we still got to work. And so while we're working, we also we also get the opportunity to chill out. There's not much extra we can get into. So rest has become a definite priority. We're allowing ourselves to just take our time, take our rest. And then, as you, I think, both mentioned, we're really looking at, okay, what do we want our life to look at once all this is over?
Exactly. Yeah.
Where are we going from here?
Yeah.
I know for me, I've re-enrolled in school. I'm about to finish up on my degree.
Nice.
That has been
Nice.
that has been a lifelong goal for
Yeah.
a really long time, and all the pieces of the puzzle have fallen into place. And it's like, okay, so time-wise, I've got it. It's here now, and so if I'm committed to that process, if I've already carved that out, when all of this whatever swings back in, I'm already in that habit. I'm already in that flow. There's no reason not to go ahead and get that done. I've been kind of toying with, for lack of a better term, launching my own nonprofit. One of the things that I do and have done for years is that I've been a nonprofit consultant. I've helped launch ministries and churches and all kinds of stuff for a number of years. But I really had a burden to create another nonprofit that helps helpers, that helps people who want to help people, really get the tools that they need. How do you build this stuff with a bootstrap budget? You got a lot of people with big hearts, but thin wallets. And so, they need strategy and technique and leadership skills to navigate from a big heart to an actual organization that is flowing money and helping the community. So been messing with that a little bit and things of that nature. Just really looking at what do we want our life to look like once we can do whatever it is we want to do again. You know? And so that's been the main things that we've been doing.
That's good. That's good stuff, man.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that, and I told our people a couple of, when this first hit, we have to start thinking about what's next.
Right.
What is the next out of this? Because this is not going to last forever. And so, D, I applaud you, man, going back and finishing. That's, I think I'm in higher ed too. And so I talk to students all the time and potential students who are now using this as their latest crutch and saying, well, I can't go to school because I got, no. If you
this
want,
is that time.
This is the time.
This is the time, yeah.
You got nothing else to do. No movie for you to go to watch. No restaurants for you to go hang out and spend 2 hours in.
Right.
You got time, and so I think this has been, for all of us, has been a cure to procrastination.
Yes.
Because I'll even be honest, when I began to think about this kind of a conversation, just getting this going, at first it was like, well, I can probably do it. We'll do it 2-3 weeks, but you guys can attest. I called you guys both earlier this week, and I was like, okay, let's get it done. Why? Because there's no time like the present, right?
Right.
Yep.
So I appreciate you guys hanging out with us for this. Yeah, go ahead, Tori. You got something?
Hey, there's a question from Fred Johnson. He says, how have you all dealt with the quarantine? Everybody's in different situations, so I want to hear different answers from everybody, if that's okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Fred.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, we'll kind of reiterate, but I'll jump in, and then Tori and Dee, you guys can wrap up, and then we'll close it out for this session. We're going to do these a lot more. But for us, it's been a focus on what have we not been doing and what can we do now. And it is really been taking advantage of the extra time that's available to us, and then thinking about not only what's next, but the other phrase I put in is what could have been and what can still be. Because a lot of times we think that times and seasons have passed, and yes, maybe I won't be an Olympic swimmer right now, right? But I can't get my health in better position.
Right.
I have to think about what could have been, and then out of what could have been, what still can be. So I think this quarantine is really, and that's aside from the spiritual aspect of really taking time to focus in and saying, okay, God, what are the next steps for us spiritually? What are the next steps for our church? But even just as far as my own goals, my own ideas of what I can do, even within the scope of everything that I do, what's next?
Yeah, and that doesn't really differ from what I've been doing, and what I'm seeing is that, and I said it before and I'll say it again, is just making things habit now. What are some things that I've been neglecting for the past 4, 5, 6, 7 years that I should have been doing this whole time? But guess what? Now I've got the time to invest into that and to do it. And so to make sure that I'm putting those things in place, because time right now is abundance in abundance for a lot of us. There's still people out there, and I don't want to downplay that still have to go into work every single day. So they might not have the time like I would or you would. But that's what I've been doing. Also, I've been making a conscious effort to try to reach out and do more virtually with my community than what I've done before. There's been a couple of times when I've helped and done things literally just sitting from my computer or my phone or my tablet. And I could have done that stuff before, but to be honest, it never crossed my mind. So now if there's a need, I'm okay. If there's a need and I can help fill it, why haven't I done it before? And why is it sparked in me to do it right now? So I think for me, that's how I've been trying to handle a lot of it. Not just circling, focusing on just me, but there's other people where this is affecting a whole lot differently. And that's allowed me to not take what I have for granted. In this day in life, in the world we live in, the country we live in, there's a lot of things that are just common for us that we think that's the way it should be. Realizing now there's a lot of things, and I don't mind saying and admitting it, there's a lot of things that I took for granted. A lot of things. Face-to-face interactions, relationships. Now I want to spend time. I mean, like with Kevin, I'm a closet introvert, meaning I could be here, I could be in my home for the weekend and not speak to anybody. But now I find myself yearning for that interaction with a person when before I could care less, or I couldn't care less. Even though I do enjoy spending time. So looking at things that I thought I was taking for granted before, but I didn't know it, and realizing it and making that change in my life. So when all this stuff is over with, I have a plan in place to build on that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Good. Awesome. Good stuff. I'll come from the perspective of what we've been doing specifically to deal with COVID-19. For us, we've definitely tried to stay, number one, stay home.
Right.
That's the first thing, stay home.
Right.
And, that's not always, you don't realize how much you're used to just getting up and moving around for no real good, solid reason. You just, because you can, and so we've definitely become a little more homebody. I'm an introvert too, so we got to find some extroverts to get on this call.
Yes, we do.
Yes, because all three of us are very comfortable with being in the house. There, just
that's not a good thing.
Got to find some folks that are actually struggling with this thing,
Right. Yeah.
On a social level, but we've definitely been proactive when it comes to if we have to get out, how we protect ourselves.
Right.
Definitely being extremely proactive with that. Like I said, my wife has been a champion with that stuff. Just making sure we've got gloves in the car, make sure we're masked up, and that we've got disinfectant and hand sanitizer on deck. And so that has definitely raised my awareness about health. Now I was already trying to and working toward losing weight, but I've lost 15 pounds in the last month. So
nice.
Just changing my diet, being more just proactive, just really wanting to. I've got too many. I'll just be honest with you. I've got too many of my my classmates and friends, they're checking out. We are too young.
Yeah.
As Black men, you
Yeah.
know, and no slight to any other race that may be watching this, but Black men in particular, man, we're dropping off the planet too early.
Yeah,
And I just like, I refuse to die in my 40s. I refuse to die in my 50s. I recognize the promises of God, but there's a whole lot I need to do.
right.
So I've definitely gotten more proactive as far as my own health is concerned. I've changed my diet dramatically. I've reduced my meat intake down to maybe once or twice a month if I can swing that. You know, just this whole thing has really made me more conscientious about not taking my health for granted.
Right.
There's way too many people who.
That's good.
Yeah, I've got a coworker, man. His dad was diagnosed with COVID-19, and less than a week later, he was gone. Yeah. So, you know, when that stuff hits that close to home, you know, this is a guy that I would have lunch with, that we would talk around the water cooler with, you know, and this guy is now, he no longer has his father, and he can't go there. He can't even see him. He can't. You know, it's hands off at this point. They're gonna have to wait to celebrate his life. You know, I was just like, at hearing that made me go, okay, there's no way. I'm just gonna take this as it comes. I'm gonna be as proactive as I can be.
You have to be.
You know, we've been definitely diligent with that. How we bring things into the house. We've been more conscientious of not trying to cross-contaminate and all of that stuff, man. We've taken this very, very seriously, even though Dallas has been pretty good when it comes to this. Our growth rate, if you will, lack of a better term, has been pretty low as far as the national average is concerned. And our area of Dallas has been even lower, but we can't take that for granted.
Right.
We can't afford to take that for granted.
Right.
You know? So yeah, that's been our main thing, is like, look, to take this thing seriously. It's not a game. You know, it's just not a game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you on the weight, because both of you guys know I've struggled with my weight probably for all the time that I've known you guys. Yeah. But I've gone keto. Look, keto works for me.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
I'm down. I think I'm down from my heaviest. I'm down like 50 pounds, I think.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Since I started keto, I'm down about 20 pounds.
Yes.
Nice.
And
good.
Works, you know.
It does.
I get bacon.
Boy. Dude, when I found that out, I'm like, wait a minute. I can still have bacon?
Listen.
Oh yeah. Hey. I was like, sign me up, buddy.
Yeah. So I've been doing that, and then, you know, during this time, like I said, I've been going for walks. I've been getting up a little bit. I don't have that commute.
Right.
I go for a walk. I walk around the trail. You know, the weather's great here, so I walk around the trail. I do those things. So I think those are the things. And Fred in the comments put, you know, he made this statement. He said, progression, not perfection. And I think that's something that we have to be mindful of.
That's a great statement.
And I think that for men, a lot of times we get stuck on wanting it to be perfect and not recognizing that there's just progress that needs to be made. I can progress towards perfection, but if I'm expecting perfection right out the gate, then I'm going to be disappointed every time. And that's going to be even discouraging, because if you put your mind that you're thinking it's got to be perfect, and when it doesn't happen that way. So yeah, progression. There's some days where things go really well. There's some days where it doesn't go to plan, but I'm still making that progress.
Right.
So
that's good stuff. I like that.
I love it. So I really appreciate you guys coming on and doing this with me. We'll talk more, and we'll have more of these, but to those that have been watching and queuing in, definitely be mindful. We're going to be putting these out more. I'm encouraged even just by the conversation that we've had, and even some of the interaction we've had on the live, because I think that this is needed. Do you guys agree? I think this is really needed.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
For sure.
Definitely.
So we're going to do these more. We may see if we can find that extrovert that can come in and maybe pull.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I got a couple of mine right now that I can hit up.
Okay.
Hey, I know at least two right off the bat.
So
Good stuff.
and you know, these talks, and I love and I appreciate the fact my goal with this was not to have this be another church Bible study talk.
Yeah.
You know, I love the word. I
Right.
teach it all the time, right?
But this is life, bro. We gotta talk life.
You know,
Yeah.
and if our belief is part of our lifestyle, then who I am doesn't always need to be quoting John 3:16 to you every time.
Right.
We can have a conversation and talk about who we are. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everyone for watching. This will be up on my YouTube page, and I think I'm even going to create a Facebook page specifically for Chop It Up. So
Nice.
That'd be great.
The Chop It Up, the next one will probably, guys, if we're available, maybe every Saturday around this time. And if we have any changes, we'll discuss that. But
Yeah, sounds good to me, man.
we'll go on with this, and this will be good. All right. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Everyone watching, thanks. Be blessed.
All right, fellas, y'all be good.
All right.
You too. Have a good one.